Today we're going to talk about 3 things you need to do before you hire an editor. Hello, book sniffers. Have any of you ever called a photographer, said, "Hey, Joe, how you doing? I would really like a photographer to take a family photo. We want 5 poses. We want about 17 portraits, and I can pay you $50. Now, if any of you ever done that, shame on you. That's kind of the equivalent of going to a mechanic and saying, I need a new alternator and I can pay you $75. I mean, you don't do that. And I have a feeling that there's some of you out there that have unrealistic expectations for an editor, or they don't have expectations for an editor at all and they don't know what they're asking for. And so I felt like you might need a video to kind of help you navigate the waters a little bit and prep you for getting ready for an editor. So there are 3 major things that I feel like you need to do as an author before you contact an editor. You don't want just any editor to read your stuff. You need an editor that knows what you're writing and who your audience is going to be. And this is what leads to the first thing you need to do. And that is you need to know your genre. You need to know what genre your book fits into. Now, if you don't know that, you can contact a consultant. A lot of editors will offer a free consult. I know I do. Before I'll even let you hire me, I insist that you talk to me for at least an hour to kind of vet me and make sure that I'm going to be the right fit for your project, because not every editor is right for your project. It's not just a matter of money. It's also a matter of whether or not I know what you're writing about and I'm capable of handling it. And so you need to make sure that you vet your editor and that they're vetting you as well. If they're just willing to just take you without knowing your genre, knowing what you're writing about, knowing your word count, and taking your offer to just edit whatever, there should be some serious red flags and a lot of alarm bells going off.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Most editors charge per word or per page. You have to know your genre so that you know the expected word count for your book. If you're writing say you're writing a nonfiction business book and you've got a word count that's up around 150,000 words, I can tell you honestly, your book isn't going to get read. People are going to look at that monster of a book and it's supposed to be a nonfiction business book and they're going to think, what the freak am I getting into? If they're reading a sci-fi fantasy, or if they're reading an epic, or if they're reading like a dystopian YA, they might expect a 350, 400 page book, especially if you're doing some world building. Your editor needs to know the genre specifications. They need to know what the expected word count is. And that way you're not spending more money than you need to. Because if an editor is charging per word and you are 20,000 words over already, you've already shot yourself in the foot, because now you're paying for an editor to read or cut 20,000 words out of your manuscript when you could probably have done that before sending it over to them. So please don't send a manuscript to an editor without understanding your genre and what those genre specifications are, so that you can make sure that you're not overpaying for your editor. The second thing you need to do is you need to have beta readers read your book. Please do not submit to an editor without other eyes looking at your manuscript.
Enjoy. I think you'll find it's a good read.
Hey, newbie, this thing actually does matter, so tell me, were you completely honest with yourself?
Yeah.
Say it right into the camera there, hotshot.
Here's another mistake that is just absolutely huge. If you have not had a beta reader go through your book first, at least one, but I would recommend 4, 5, 6, more the merrier. If you have people go read through that book before you submit it to an editor and you get some of their feedback before you get the pro, then you're going to be less likely to be wasting money, because they might point things out that your editor would have pointed out, probably would have been more costly, because it might require another revision, or it might require more time. So make sure that you get your draft down to its very best book. Do not ever submit a first draft to an editor. Big mistake. big waste of money. Don't do it. The third thing you need to know and do before you submit to an editor is know what your goals are. Exclamation point.
Oh, come on, Daddy, listen to me. It's like all of my life, everyone has always told me, you're a shoe. You're a shoe, you're a shoe, you're a shoe. And then today I just stopped and I said, what if I don't want to be a shoe? What if I want to be a purse, you know, or a hat? No, I don't want you to buy me a hat. I'm saying that I am a hat. It's a metaphor, Daddy.
You need to understand what your end game is for that book. Do you want to have it be traditionally published? Do you want to independently publish it? Do you just want to self-publish it and not worry about sales, or do you care about sales? Do you plan to go on the public speaking circuit with your book? What are your goals for this book? There are different editors out there that will have a better hold on certain aspects of the industry. For example, I'm really good at helping my authors self-publish or independently publish their books. As an editor that focuses on independent publishers, I make sure that they are hitting certain benchmarks, that they are achieving certain things, that they're putting things in place that help them get to that level so that they're not just down here and not getting any sales. So keep that in mind when you're hiring an editor, that they're going to hit certain benchmarks for your goals. So you need to know what those goals are before you hire an editor. I have great people in my network that have those different benchmarks all figured out. I mean, there's just different things that you need to keep in mind when you are getting ready to edit your book and get your book to where you want to be. Number one, know your genre. Number two, get that final draft. Use beta readers. And number three is make sure that you know where you want your book to go. So I hope this helped you kind of understand some of the things that you need to think about before you hire an editor and make that offer. So before you put your hard-earned money into an editor, make sure you do some of this legwork. You are actually embarking upon a business that, depending on how much effort you want to put into it, will require a certain amount of homework from you and an investment in yourself and in your project. So please make sure that you are finding the right editor that can consult you on this stuff and help you along your path. I sure hope this video really helped you figure out how to get ready for an editor. There's a lot more that actually goes into this, but at least this way you can kind of get an idea of some things that maybe you haven't previously thought about before contacting an editor. Hit that like and subscribe button so that you can continue to stay on top of the topics that I'm tackling for you. I want to make sure that I'm addressing those things that are going to help you achieve your goals. And I wish you the best, book sniffers. I hope you have a great day.